What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to actually talk about how to 80-20 your performance. I'm going to explain all this, talk you through exactly what I'm talking about. But I think this is really important because first off, we have this classic problem that we see time and time again, which is where people try to divide out performance and mindset and feelings, whatever, belief patterns, habits over here, and in business over there. And they box and categorize these things as they're two separate entities and they never touch, right? But how you do one thing is how you do all things. So these two they live simultaneously together. So we can't talk about mindset without talking about business, because especially for men are here and tend to work best off a destination, a purpose, having something that they're working towards, something bigger than themselves. Now, I don't know if women feel like that because I'm not a woman, okay? And I only have limited experience with talking through this with them. So I don't know. But I know for men, you can't have one of these conversations without the other. Fulfillment, purpose, legacy. Those are all things that are very, very important. And they're not something that is like a social structure passed on. They are something that is deep and innate inside of us. Every man is born with this. They're not taught this through social structures. So there's something there. There's something really important there, right? And I think a lot of people miss this. So 80-20 itself, what this was a concept that was originally rolled out by Richard Koch or Kohash, however you want to pronounce his last name, which they used to be much more well-liked than they are now. The Koch family isn't really well-liked now because of politics and things like that have kind of come out in the last couple of years. But nonetheless, the original book, 80-20, was genius. So what it was is 80% of your reward is going to come from 20% of your efforts. 80% of fill in the blank comes from 20%, meaning that there's really just a small amount of things you should be focused on. And that will dictate a bulk of what you get. Kind of like this. A small hinge, a small lever swings a big ass door, right? You ever notice in a castle or in a huge house that huge doors, really small levers? It's the same thing here. Now, how I've always seen this talked about is usually in terms of business, right? And when I was learning marketing, one of the things that we learned was optimization. So meaning you needed to get quantifiable data and metrics on everything you're doing, so you knew if you're spending money in the right place and if it even makes sense and what's the ROI on this, right? These are basic things. Now, I will say that I think the most important skill you could learn as anybody, a trader, an entrepreneur, real estate agent, is marketing. Marketing is something you will keep for your whole life. Marketing is something that will follow you around over and over and over again. Sales and marketing. So being able to convey a message to a group of people and get them to take an action based upon that and the action that you want. Now, that's getting into more of like a peak performer. Peak performer can go into any audience, anywhere in the world, get them to do exactly what they want when they want to do it, when they want them to do it. That is operating at peak. So anyways, sales and marketing is the most important things you could learn. Yet, if we look at especially the crypto trading group and the cryptocurrency market, which it just blows my mind, and this is why I bring it up all the time, because deep down it just fucking irritates me, and that's why I'm constantly bringing it up, okay? This is how I get through some things, is that they think marketing is just this scam. It's not real. It doesn't exist. Well, unless you're going to by tomorrow reprogram human nature, and weed out tribal tendencies and pecking order and psychology, then it's not going anywhere. Okay, it's not changing anytime soon. So maybe just shut the fuck up about it and learn how to do it instead of talking smack. All right, so let's get into this. So what I'm going to do is performance can be measured actually really simply. And we can figure out what's the small things in every main category of our life actually that drives and will dictate the big moves. And we're gonna walk through this 80-20 idea through what I call the 4 F's. This is not mine, by the way, okay? And what it is the main areas of your life. It is your fitness, your finances, your family, and your faith. So spiritual practice, faith, family. This could just be your time by yourself, your time with your significant other. You got kids, doesn't matter. Fitness is you and your physical body. Finances is your business and how you're making money. Because the beautiful thing about 80-20 is it's applicable everywhere. So, in your finances, in this realm, this is business, this is I work a job, this is all of that. What are the small things that will swing the biggest results? So with a job, it has to do with your metrics and how you're performing at your tasks to then be able to document and keep track of, to then continually take to your boss so that you get a raise. 87% of people are unhappy. And most of that demographic is actively disengaged, I believe it was noted as by Gallup polls. And it just basically means that they don't give a fuck about their job and they're miserable. So, of course, I dug up some stats. 60% of people reported in 2018 that they didn't get a raise. Makes total sense. 87% of people are unhappy. 60% of people are reporting not getting a raise. Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't go like you're unhappy and you do a shitty job and then you get a raise. It doesn't work like that. It just proves my point that I talk about over and over and over again, which is right now is the easiest time to dominate because everyone else is just giving up. Everyone else is whining and crying and needs a safe space over here to even get through the day. Okay? The stats of how many people cry at work is even more stunning, which I don't even want to talk about. So with finances, if I have a job, then my 80-20 would just boil down to what are the big focal points that I can hit on in my job, in my task, that lead to a measurable ROI, a quantifiable piece of data, a metric that I can take to the boss constantly, whether it's every week, every month, every 6 months, and I can say, boom, here we go. I brought home the bacon. And that I can use and leverage later to get a raise. So if I'm the guy if I'm going out and brokering deals, then it's how much money am I bringing into the company every single month? Those should be the things I'm focused on. That's it. It could be literally that one thing. How much money, brand new money, am I bringing in every month? Let's track that metric. Because by tracking that one metric, isn't there a whole other string and a whole other, linear line of things that are required to get to this? Of course there are. There's my sales cycle. There's my lead flow. There is my sales presentation. There is how I handle these conversations. All of that is now important based off that one metric. But doesn't that one metric sound a whole lot better in your mind versus all of this crap? So we can even declutter our brain and just focus on the one thing. Well, guess what? If you own your own business, it's the same thing. Leads and sales. Leads and sales. Okay? So we set overall targets, daily, monthly, you could even do hourly, yearly. And then we take apart our sales cycle and we look at what happens from the minute that they come in, what's their first interaction with me, and then how can we continue to give them what they need and walk them through a process that gets them to make a buying decision on what we offer. And we want to constantly be shortening that period of time, pumping in enough people through the beginning of the funnel to go through the ascension and get to the end goal, which is buying our stuff. So that's all we'd have to focus on there. Fitness is based on your goal. Okay, so for most people, they don't want to be super jacked and be able to bench 400 pounds or squat or deadlift 400 pounds. They just want to be in shape. Okay, and in shape means that they don't have a big fat belly hanging over that sticks out more than their dick does, and they can see some definition there, and they feel strong, and they don't have joint and achy problems. Okay, that for the most part is what people are going for. So your fitness actually doesn't need to be that much. You could work out 3 times a week, but yet how many people are convinced that they need to work out every day? And then they're trying to also kind of half-ass track their macros, but yet they need all these sports supplements. I mean, none of that's actually necessary. We actually don't have to track macros at all if that is your goal. But when you're at the gym, you work out and you bust your ass for 30, 45 minutes and you go all in on that. But again, we don't see that either. So we don't even need the supplements. We don't need the protein. We don't need to be taking in 1 gram of protein per 1 pound body fat. We don't even need to mess with any of that. Fancy diets, keto, intermittent fasting. Some of that would make it easier. But at the core, all we really need to do is go into the gym 3 to 4 times a week and completely bust our ass. Put it all on the line. Okay? And we should be burning enough calories through those days that the rest of the other days, as long as you're not eating Cheesecake Factory and pizza 5 times a day, you should be fine. Okay. And I think that's common sense for most people. So again, what's the small thing we could focus on that swings the big lever? So 30, 45 minutes in the gym means what? Low rest times, no bullshitting and chatting with people, no selfies and Snapchats for your social media. But we don't see that. We see most people going in and spending 2 to 3 hours in a gym, yet they look like shit. They look scrawny or small, or they're still fat. If you go in and you see people that look the exact same month after month after month, they are fucking doing it wrong. Okay, so why would you spend time talking to them? Why would you spend time listening to their advice? They suck. Okay, move on. So your program should be very simple there. And family, we can do the same thing, is, okay, well, they want to spend time with us and they're constantly trying to pull us away, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're working at home. They're constantly coming into the office and bothering you, right? So what if we were to just set 1 hour per day? And that's the time that we do homework, that's the time that we eat together, that's the time that they get with me, or 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever that is. That's the small piece that will swing the big piece of happiness there and the fulfillment there. Okay, or maybe we take Sundays off completely, because then on Sunday we could fill in another piece. So Sunday we could get a piece of fitness in. Sunday we could get family time in. Sunday we could also fulfill the faith. So for a lot of people, they go to church on Sundays. Okay, so that would be the piece there. And you don't have to take the whole day off Sunday, but maybe the first half of the day, second half of the day you work, or vice versa, something like that. Faith is the same way. Like, what is the big what is the small piece that swings the big door here? And for me, it would be affirmations, or just 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night to go through how you want the day to go in the morning, and setting up the tone and walking through visually how you want the day to go. And then at the end of the day, it would be to reshape and replay through situations that didn't go the way I wanted it to, and giving myself the tools that I need so that I can walk through that again successfully as I replay through that. And then going through my affirmations again, and then going to sleep. Right? So those are all the small things that we could just use right now to declutter completely our brain and have way more success, first off, and be more happy. So 80-20, not only 80-20 can be applied to anything, but this whole misnomer of, putting business and, mindset stuff separately, it's completely obnoxious, because it's the same stuff. It all flows into each other. And this is a simple way you could do this. You could do this completely a different way than what I just showed you here. I just wanted to walk you through something really, really simple that grabs one or two core pieces that matter the most. Like, if you were to drop everything else but leads and sales with finances, you'd be in great shape. With family, it's just maybe spending X amount of time with them per week and breaking that down into a daily, okay? That keeps them happy, okay? You don't need to go and at every women call, go and oh, hey, what's going on? You okay? No, we put everything into a box there, and we satisfy that, whether that's a daily hour, daily 2 hours, a weekend, whatever. Fitness, same thing here. Let's just go to the gym 3 days a week. We don't eat like a fat fuck and eat 2 gallons of ice cream a week and 15 pizzas, fast food at every single meal. We cook most of our meals, and we go to the gym 3 days a week, which is like what we used to do back in the day. Normal behavior, okay? And boom, done. Faith, go to church once a week, or do your 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. If you just eliminated everything else from your plate but what I just went through, you would not only have more success, but you'd have more happiness. And so this point illustrates that you don't have to go crazy, right? Like, I fell into this groove many times, but one of the grooves that I fell through when I started to get into the performance stuff was that I did way too much. I'm on like 35 supplements. I'm on all these Chinese herbs and all this shit for my brain. And you don't even know what anything is doing, if at all, because I had way too much clutter. And there was no way for me to really quantify each piece separately, because everything was affecting, there was no true test here. Everything was affecting study, I guess you could say, on myself. And we do this in every area of our life. Okay, we do this with business, and we feel like we need to learn all these things. If we just strip everything back to the simplest version based on the goal that we have, we'll be a lot more successful. And now that we are in middle of November, getting to be in the middle of November, I'm going to be talking more and more about simple stuff you can do to reframe and properly set goals for the year to come. Because right now is the time that most successful people are going back through their year. And in December especially, they will be spending that time to go back through their year into early January and plan for the next year. Most of the planning is already done in the fourth quarter. And then by the time the new year swings around, it's done. Okay, but you notice most regular people don't do that. They will wait till the very last minute, and then come January, as the guilt sets in and they see the big uptick in gym memberships and the New Year's resolution people come in full throttle, quit smoking, eat better, blah, 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 all the bullshit. I want to make $1 million, right? You'll see that most of those people start planning in the beginning of the year, don't properly plan. I mean, they might write it down once, throw the piece of paper, in the stack that gets lost, but that's it. That's the extent of their planning. And the extent of their planning leads to the lack of results in the end. Whereas what we're going to start to go through and a lot of the pieces I'm going to give you is just really simple things you can use. There's a lot of this already on the channel. Go through the goal setting process. I have 2 or 3 videos that I've shot already. Absolutely amazing. That's my best stuff. It took me a really long time to figure that stuff out. And it's an easy way to, I think, look at this differently so that's not stressful and get the job done. Okay, that's it. So like this video, thumbs it up, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you're brand new, and then I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below. All right, see ya.